Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Oldies but Goldies, the show where we talk about all the juiciest games of our time. Today, we will be talking about the action packed game starring the deadliest and maybe even the sexiest female protagonist from the game Tomb Raider, the 1996 3D action adventure platformer published by Eidos Interactive. This is the first iteration of the wildly known franchise, which has since had multiple game releases and garnered quite their reputation throughout the years. Before we start, however, just as a disclaimer, the storytelling has definitely been shortened just so that the video won't be an hour or too long, and as a content warning, this will be spoiler heavy, and if you don't want to have your gameplay spoiled, I suggest you tune off of this video, and I'll just see you in the next one. Now, with that out of the way, I hope you enjoy! Our main protagonist, Lara Croft, is an intelligent but deadly archaeologist who dives into ancient ruins around the globe, searching for all its hidden secrets. She is the baddest of them all, a rich aristocrat who is adventure-driven and always up for exhilarating challenges. Until she is disowned by her father for her lifestyle choices. We've all been there, right, guys? We definitely know where that conversation could have went. Oh, Daddy, I want to be an adventurer. I don't want to marry this filthy rich man, but rather be living in danger, killing people for sport. Please, Daddy, you have to support me.
How dare you act so unladylike, young lady? You are no daughter of mine. You are a brute. I disown you.
Daddy, how could you? I don't need your money, Daddy. I will go out and find my own place in this world. Goodbye. So, yeah, if that's how the British aristocrats act, I'd say that's pretty accurate, honestly. I'd even go as far as to say that that was quite the reenactment of how the exchange should have went, if I might say so myself. I'll just give myself a pat on the back right there for a job well done. All right. Okay, guys, like, I tried. Just, like, imagine me winning an award from this kind of acting. For this award, I would like to thank my father, my mother, for giving birth to me. I'd like to thank all the lovely people for the opportunity to be able to play Lara Croft in this reenactment. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, what really happened was that Laura had had enough of her boring life in high society. She became such a fearless warrior at the age of 21 when she went through a plane crash in the Himalayas after having been on a skiing trip. She would be the only survivor and would have to learn how to stay alive in very hostile conditions. And because of the effect that this had had on her, she ultimately decided that she wanted to get away from the high-end British society she was bound to. This is how her background story is portrayed in the first game. However, in later iterations, Laura's story slightly changes, and instead of being disowned by her father, she's rather the daughter of an aristocrat named Richard Croft, who's quite fond of archaeology actually, but who ends up dying in search of his wife. It's pretty sad, yeah. So Laura ends up taking the mantle when she finds her father's dead body and goes seeking for answers. She would end up discovering her father's bunker underneath their house, filled to the brim with information of his findings. Not really any disowning happening here, but more a loving father who leaves his little daughter to rot by herself because of his obsession with his wife. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Laura essentially had to grow up by herself, and because of that fact, she started resenting him for actually never being there for her. So, just some context right there. Laura's mother, Amelia Croft, died in a plane crash in Tibet, and her father went out to the crash site to actually look for Amelia's body. When he found her body, it completely broke him, and he would start researching resurrection and immortality as he wanted to revive his dead wife. And because of his obsession and search for immortality, he gets on the wrong people's bad side and later on gets offed by them as to not reveal the secrets of immortality to the public. The backstory really makes you feel so bad for Laura, as she's very young when she finds her father's body. This guy in today's age, like, he would be losing parental rights, okay? I'm telling you, like, child's welfare would be standing out there, like knocking on the door, like, "Hey, give me your kids, you bastard." That's probably what would happen. Okay, yeah, okay. They kind of can't take the parental rights away from him since he's dead and all. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. The moral of the story is that they really deviated quite a lot from the main plotline of the first game release, as it at times seemed as if they didn't really know where they were going with the story. But I digress. So let's start telling the story from the game now, shall we? Alright, so the plotline is centered around how our badass adventurer slash archaeologist slash sexy square shaped booba female protagonist navigates through tombs to retrieve something called the Scions, which is three pieces of an artifact scattered in different parts of the world. I'm not sure if it's the Scion or Scion, so we're just gonna stick to Scion because that's what I'm used to. And don't worry, by the way, we will definitely go much deeper into this later on, so just stay with me here. Laura's at the start of the game approached by a man named Larson in a hotel lobby, acting all like flirtatious, like, "What a man gotta do to get attention from you?" Kind of rhymes, honestly. He piques Laura's interest and then connects Laura to a businesswoman named Jacqueline Natla. Natla, she offers up an explorational mission for Laura in the snowy mountains of Peru, where an unfound tomb of Qualipec is hidden, and tasks her with retrieving an artifact of mystical powers called the Scions. So, Laura ends up accepting the mission and starts exploring the first tomb, where there are multiple traps as well as enemies scattered around. After Laura manages to attain the first piece of the artifact, she is ambushed and defeats Larson, the man who first approached Laura at the start of the game. After his defeat, he reveals that she only has one piece of the artifact and that Notla had actually sent another rival treasurer named Pierre Dupont to retrieve the other two pieces. She also learns that Larson had been sent by Notla to get rid of Laura and to retrieve the pieces from her at all costs. So Lara is ultimately betrayed by her. The way Larson goes, "You with that driveling piece of the scion, you want to keep it so bad, I'll harness it right up your da." And then Laura cuts in. They portray this guy as more of a funnier character, which was like a nice little touch, honestly. Anyway, so Notla, this little bish, hires Lara and now wants to get rid of her. So at the start of the game, they kind of sort of established that Lara is a well-known archaeologist or like a treasure hunter. So that's why Notla already knows about her and wants to have her help find the artifact. So she sends her on her merry way to do the job for her, but ultimately wants to off her the second she has it in her possession. Yeah. That's pretty messed up, not gonna lie. Anyways, Lara makes her way out of the ruins and heads on over to Notla's office, where she breaks in to try to figure out why she had been betrayed by her. During this, she finds that this artifact is actually very, very powerful and is composed of three different pieces. These pieces were divided long, long ago between the rulers of Atlantis, and that the next artifact Notla was after was hidden in Tiokon's tomb in Greece. So, just some context right there. Qualipec and Tiokon are two of the three Atlantean rulers, and that's why their names are as such and are popping up, just so that we're on the same page right there. So, Laura heads on over to Greece to confirm whether the story Larson told her is true or not, which it indeed proves to be, as she finds out that Pierre had already infiltrated the tomb when she arrives. And by the way, this is just like so out of the blue, okay? But did you guys ever see the cover photo of Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness? It's like the sixth game of the series or something. Here, she honestly looks just like Michael Jackson, and I'm not even kidding. She literally does, okay? Tell me you guys can't see it in this photo. Like, honestly, tell me. I never thought about it growing up, but after re-seeing this, I can never unsee that, honestly. I bet there are a ton of people thinking the same thing, honestly, which is like, just imagine with me here. Michael Jackson doing a Tomb Raider movie. I would definitely pay to see that movie. Like, wouldn't you? Him going like, hee, or like, chum on it. Like, him fighting some mercenaries doing that or something. May this guy rest in peace, guys. I'm so sorry. I think he's like definitely like rolling around in his grave right now, being angry at me. I'm so sorry. The funnest part of this game was all the types of climbing, jumping from ledges to ledges, the fun exploration, and the guns. The dual freaking guns. This game was so lethal and it really wanted to cut you into any chance it got. It was like running in a maze full of death traps, having occasional bears trying to rip you to shreds and all. Even lions, crocodiles, and gorillas. Like, for Christ's sake, there was even one of the hardest bosses was a T-Rex. I don't know how fast I ran away from that when I encountered it the first time. The developers, they were really out to get you guys, I swear. There were so many traps hidden all over the place, like spikes, trapdoors, levers that would let in an army of lions to kill you. There was so much exploration that could be done as well, with many hidden secrets that really rewarded you if you actually went out of your way to look for them. Some puzzles would really make you rack your brain to actually try to figure it out. Do you guys remember the step back you could do, by the way, where Lara would do this awesome backflip, or the side jumps when trying to run away from an enemy or in a boss fight? You could even use it when leaping from ledges, as it actually gave you like an extra boost when trying to jump to another ledge. It was like a triple jump. She would be leaping into the air as if gravity wasn't even an issue. Those were such good times. Like, she jumped higher than a freaking kangaroo as if she herself was the kangaroo. I don't know how many times I got so angry at that point, but yeah. Now, the worst part, I'd say, was how you couldn't use both the guns and climb at the same time, because really would have came in handy at times. I don't know how many times I died trying to run away from that bear at the start of the game, or whenever I came into tombs that really required the use of both, like in some boss fights. The second you would climb and an enemy saw you, it was like an instant death trap, I swear. You couldn't grab the ledge, but your stubbornness just made you keep trying until half your health was already depleted, and you just end up dying. You would get so frustrated for being so stupid, I guess, and actually going for it, even when knowing that it was certain death. Some of the fights were a little bit clunky as well, where you would just like stand there shooting at the enemy until the enemy was dead. They probably had something else in mind right there, but the finished product was a bit, yeah. Also, a side note, let me just say this, the swimming in this game gave me literal anxiety. I was so terrified every time I would make my way down there. It was so pitch black at times. Okay, so let's go back to retelling the actual story, shall we? So, Lara heads into the tomb and is constantly attacked by many vicious animals, as well as Pierre himself, who makes an appearance. She constantly has these small fights with Pierre where he manages to slither his sneaky ass away from her time and time again. And it is not until she is attacked by a centaur that Pierre and her finally have one last showdown. She manages to defeat him and grabs his guns as well as the second scion he had managed to take from the pedestal it had been sitting on. Lara then joins the two scion pieces together and is immediately given a vision of Atlantis' destruction, where she also learns that the third and final piece is hidden in a tomb in Egypt. With that, Lara heads on over to the lost city of Kamun in Egypt, the underground ruin where the last piece of the scion is located. Here she faces many dangerous challenges, as well as Larson, who makes a comeback and is now determined to get rid of Lara for good. She defeats him and gets rid of him instead, and manages to get to the last piece of the scion. So he's finally dead this time, actually. Like, if he didn't die this time, I swear, this guy gotta be immortal or something. There's no way. Did you guys actually know that this game is being remastered and re-released in February of this year? Or by the time that this video comes out, the game has probably already been released as far as I understood. I think it was Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 all in one game, and the graphics have had a bit of a fine-tuning. It is much smoother. She doesn't have her square boobas anymore, but more of a round chest, which is kind of a bummer if you ask me, honestly, but what can you do? They have to cater to the audience, I guess. Yeah, you can't always have what you wish for, okay, guys? Sadly. Aren't square boobas just like sexier than the round boobas she has? Keep her boobas like they were. You'll be able to play all the adventures as well as all the expansions as well, which sounds pretty good for the people that don't have the game or are actually looking into trying it out. Last time I checked, it was about 30 US dollars for the full game. So if you do try it out, leave it in the comments below what you guys actually thought about it. I'm definitely gonna jump into it and retry it when it's released. I think, honestly, the funniest part of Tomb Raider was the fact that Lara probably destroys way more tombs than she actually raids. Just some piece of precious history right there. Oh well, let me just break it and go on my merry way. Or at least that's how it feels every time I see that. You would think that she would be preserving these monuments, but no. Our girl is out here literally with a sledgehammer, boinking at everything in her way. I don't think people associate archaeology and badassery together. Wait, okay, I don't even think anyone has ever said those two words in the same sentence, but our girl is out here like killing mercenaries and anyone in her path. I've never seen an archaeologist take down mercenaries at this caliber, so I'd say I'm pretty impressed, honestly. Okay, are you guys ready to talk about the final act of the story? Okay, let's go. So, Lara makes her way out of the tomb with the Scion. She is then ambushed by Notla and her henchmen. They're honestly just like casually standing there, waiting for her as if they knew she was coming out. They proceed to take the Scion from Lara and try to kill her, but Lara luckily manages to get away from their clutches and jumps into the water. Notla and her henchmen then leave without a second glance, thinking there's no way she can follow us now, right? No. Lara had actually managed to make her way after them and hidden herself inside the boat with Notla and the others. She literally jumped onto the boat with a motorcycle. Like, the clip was so badass, guys. Like, just look at it. So, the island they arrive at is the place where the Great Pyramid of Atlantis is located and hidden beneath a mountain. Here, Lara sees Notla place the Scion on a pedestal, restoring power to the entire building. Lara makes her way to the top of the building where the Scion is placed after defeating many enemies, even Notla's henchmen, and when she attempts to take it off of the pedestal, she receives another vision. This vision reveals that Notla is the third and last ruler of Atlantis, who had betrayed the other Atlantean rulers by using the Scion to her own agenda. With it, she had attempted at creating an army of mutants, but was later on stopped and imprisoned for her crimes by the fellow Atlantean rulers. After the vision, Lara is greeted by Notla, who now vows to complete what she had once attempted to do. Lara, however, she's gonna have none of this, okay? And she decides that the only way she can actually stop this from happening is to destroy the Scion for good. Notla then rushes at Lara before she can shoot it with her guns, only to fall to her death, while Lara makes her way towards the Scion, takes aim, and shoots and destroys it once and for all. This causes a reaction throughout the entire pyramid as it is now being destroyed, so Lara has to make her way out before she is consumed within it. Before she is able to escape, however, she encounters Notla one last time, who had actually not died from the fall, because Notla is now in her new Atlantean form, which basically has her sporting some like new fancy red wings, flying into the air trying to kill Lara by shooting some sort of fireballs at her. Lara, however, manages to come out victorious by blasting Notla with her guns in return. So I'll just check that out of my list of guns beats fire. Yeah. Remind me to actually write that down, guys. Anyways, before the tomb is fully destroyed, she manages to escape the doomed island on Nautla's yacht, with the island just casually exploding behind her. And yeah, that, guys, that is where I'll leave you with the story. I hope it was as entertaining for you guys as I definitely enjoyed retelling this story. Leave it in the comments what you guys actually thought about it. Oh, and by the way, before we end things, did you guys see the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie as the main actress? Honestly, in my opinion, she fit that role so freakishly well. It was almost as if she was born for it, honestly. She was the epitome of sexy, if I might say so. It wasn't just how she looked in the role, but it was also how she portrayed her that really stuck out to me. I can't really say the movies were any good. Well, I kind of can't say any of the Tomb Raider movies were good in general. The quality wise, though, you could technically say that the 2018 movie beat the ones Angelina was in, if you take the story and the visuals into consideration. Sadly. Anyways, like, it doesn't matter because Angelina is always gonna be my Laura, okay? No matter what anyone says, Angelina is Laura. Anyways, guys, if you like this video and you want to see more in the future, give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe. If you have any ideas of what I should cover next, please leave it in the comments below as well. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one.